Good evening, I'm the Game Tutor, and tonight we're going to be grading Persona Arena 4 Ultimax. Now, the original Persona 4 Arena was an unusual game. So let's take the RPG world of Persona, which was in itself an offshoot of the Shin Megami series, and give it to Arc Systems of Guilty Gear and Baz-Boo fame, and let's get them to make a 2D fighter out of it. Following? Well, it's odd indeed, but it actually kind of worked, with the end result being a deep and quite enjoyable 2D fighter. Now, I was never a hardcore player of the original, but I did enjoy the first game and got quite a lot of fun out of it. Persona Arena 4 Ultimax is the direct sequel to the 2012 original and pretty much offers more of the same. Some new characters, some new fighting variants, and of course, a brand new story. Now, kind of think of this in a sequel in the way Capcom releases a new Street Fighter 4 every now and then. Well, it's actually a little bit more than that, but you kind of get the idea. If you're a die-hard fan of the original, then you're going to be lapping this up. But for newcomers, while this is definitely the best version of the game, it's rather hard to get into for a 2D fighter, albeit that it is a lot of fun. Now, storyline wise, the game takes place a week after the events of Persona 4 Arena, where a strange red fog has enveloped the town, which leads to a crossover with characters from Persona 3 and 4. Now, the story mode is very deep and very heavy on dialogue, and it hasn't really actually got a lot of action. Most of the fights you encounter are single round fights that crop up from time to time. This is definitely one for Persona fans rather than those looking for a fighting experience. Now, the arcade mode, along with more of the other traditional modes, is where most of the action will be found. One of the main new additions in the game are shadow characters that strengthen certain character attributes and weaken others. And while it is an interesting system that allows for different styles of play amongst individual characters, it doesn't really feel like it makes enough of a difference, at least from the viewpoint of a newcomer. The heart of my issue, however, is a similar reason as to why fans will love it and will probably be flaming my interview right now, and that's very complicated fighting mechanics. Each character has an avatar that fights alongside them with their own separate health and mechanics. Special moves are done this time round with familiar Street Fighter style circle commands for the most part, and this was done in an effort to reach out to newcomers. But it's things like the incredibly deep combo and reversal system that does make it a little bit confusing and hard for newcomers to get into the nuances of the system, and it does make it quite tricky to get past button mashing and using simple special moves. I could spend the next 15 minutes explaining the breadth of the system, but even then, not only am I sure I would explain it well enough, I'm not even sure I'd even fully manage to cover anything correctly. So to sum up, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is a fun title for newcomers and a very deep, rewarding title for fans of the series. But then again, you already knew that if you fall into the latter camp. Released so late in the previous console's life cycle, it may be able to get some notice, but otherwise it is part of the hardcore scene, and this new version does little to sway that. But then again, I'm sure fans of the series wouldn't want it any other way. For the next 2 months on our Steam group, we will be giving away free Steam keys every week exclusive to members. And if you've enjoyed our video, please bookmark our site, thegametutor.co.uk, and come check us out on Facebook, Twitter and Dailymotion.